Greetings and welcome to my screencast. Let's go over the basics, starting off with the camera. So, first of all, here we've got the camera, and you can see it's a physical camera, 7mm sensory type. Uh, I went for subpixel morphological anti-aliasing. My reasoning being, although in theory it shouldn't be a lot more performant, I found, at least on my device, it to be quite a lot more performant while also offering a bit more quality. So that's my reasoning as to why I went with that. Clipping, I just set the clipping 0.1. I never experienced any further issues with clipping ever since. Lighting, yes, let's go for the street. A lot of street lights are real time. All of the streetlights have a range of 20, which is basically double of the standard, I do believe. The reason for that is because they're so tall, for them to have any effect, they do have to have quite a lot of range. Beyond this, yes, temperature. As you can see here, there's a lot of temperature stuff manipulation going on with like the signs like here or like there. Um, Color-wise, what do we've got? So we've got the moon, which has sort of like a bluish filter over everything, which is, I think, quite a lovely small touch. Light mapping, light mapping. Let's go over here, for example. This entire area is light mapped. So if, for example, I were to take this light and move it away as such, you can see that the light is actually mapped to the entire area here. So if we go really quickly in here and have a look at the bait lines, you can see all of that jam over here. I'll just put that back there. Let's see, what else do we have? We got the triplanar stuff. So for triplanar stuff, I just decided to make my life easy. Where do we have a good example of this? Yes, so over here the dirt is triplanar. So a lot of the dirt stuff is basically a lot of different meshes going into one another. And essentially what I did, I've used the triplanar material to essentially have it so the texture always goes seamlessly into one another. So if you look at this, these are two different objects. However, because a triplanar material has been applied to them, the texture is always applied by position, meaning that the texture always goes seamlessly into one another. So you see over here, it goes from this object. Hang on, where's the object now? There's the object. This is an object. So over here, essentially, there's a difference in. It's hard to tell because it is working as intended, but these are two different objects, and you can see the texture goes seamlessly from one object into the other, thus creating a very nice illusion. That's used for a lot of the dirt, essentially, and the pathways in the scene. Over here, like there's a bunch of different materials, and once again, it's seamlessly goes from one texture to the other object. What else we got? We got decals, right? Yes, I didn't bother making like a specific graffiti texture. So there we go. Just got defense. Imagine this is some sort of graffiti texture. Yeah, that's decals. They work. They work the way they do. Wonderful. Fog. Yes, we got. I mean, it's quite noteworthy. The fog in the scene. I could make it a little bit more noteworthy. Where is it? Falling here. Let's see. Uh, so as you can see, the fog currently is already quite noteworthy as is. So if we go back a little bit, you can see it's over here. Was it fog attenuation, I think? Oh yeah, no, hang on. The lower, the stronger. I keep forgetting that. It's a bit counterintuitive. So yeah, you can see nice old fog. Set it back to, I don't know, 17. And yeah, I think that's basically all of the technical stuff aspect of the scene. So let's get into design process. So essentially, I started out just playing around with a bunch of random bits and pieces. And eventually I had this weird idea of like, what if I created a staircase like in like some of those medias I've seen. So I started out making a staircase, and then I realized, oh wait, you're not supposed to see the horizon. So this dramatic change in altitude is just going to make my life harder. So I looked at it and was like, well, I could just have it as a background element, and I decided I'll flip a coin. And yeah, the coin flip did not go in my favor, so instead I decided, yeah, no, you know what, you can walk there, and I'll just design everything around that element. So once I've done that, I basically went I decided that the end point is going to be the top of the stairs. That way, at least, I wouldn't have to worry too much about that. So I started going, well, what's at the bottom of the stairs? And at first, I just made a normal building there, and I put some roads there, and the road was angled towards the building, which eventually in my mind popped out the idea, what if the road went through the building? And I was like, yeah, sure, let's do that. And that's how the first corner section came to be. So I went through the tunnel and was like, okay, what now? And I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna have to eventually just start popping some normal ass buildings around here. So I started putting some normal ass buildings to the right. Put some, like a bit of a, decorated it with a variety of things. Like on the end there, you see like a bit of a homeless area where some sort of homeless person might have set up camp. Then there's a bit of an electric area fenced off there, and a small alleyway in between the original tunnel house and one of the first buildings. Um, so once that was done, I took looking at my left, which the road was going into that direction, and I was also having to figure out what I'm going to put there. I didn't want to put just more normal ass houses there because that would be pretty boring. So instead, it was like, okay, hear me out. What if there was like a bridge and like a river alongside there? I don't know why I make my life this hard, but I just do. Um, so the moment I did that, I was like, okay, but what's across from the river? Well, houses, right? So I put a house there, and I was like, okay, but how do they get there? So I built a bridge. Um, and in my mind, that bridge was, of course, built by the person who actually does the hotel. So it's a very makeshift bridge that utilizes some of the piping to get across, which was quite fun to imagine how that must have come to be. That having been created, I set my sight on what is beyond the bridge. And so I thought, well, how about like sort of like a construction site or something, since we had to implement the fences. And when I think of fences, I think of construction sites. So I put a big open area there where I started thinking about how I could essentially start populating it. And the first thing that came to mind is, since this is the site of the hotel, what if I just add like a little sort of like trash area or something? A little back door to the hotel. Makes sense. Then I started implying like a couple more generic construction stuff, some machinery to light up the scene, since I didn't really have an excuse to put like normal lighting stuff there, so I just put some machinery there, some pallets, nothing too unusual. And obviously, I had to figure out what I put behind the fence, and honestly, I just went more normal ass houses with a couple of shops, nothing special. Uh, and then I started essentially just going overboard and decorating a bit. Essentially giving a little bit more character to the entire scene. Putting some details here and there. I'm not showing everything, just some of the major improvements that this made to the scenes over here in the alley. It's populated with a lot more trash. It's a lot more of a dirty and more of a dirty and shabby feeling to it. And I added a little bunch of trash to solidify that feeling. This is the starting out area, by the way. When I said that I designed everything around the stairs, I mean it. Because I essentially already decided the ending point is the top of the stairs. So I wanted the player to start out at the exact opposite, so here at this fence, and then make their way towards the stairs. So it would be a certain of epic build up. So the player would start out here in this dirty, not so well lit area. They would then essentially maybe even see the top of the stairs and start making their way there. Uh, and as I thought of that, well, obviously I had to, figure out what the hell I'm doing with the stairs to begin with. Because, yeah, the biggest problem with the stairs, of course, you're at the top of the stairs, and, well, you're gonna have to hide everything. So I started working on essentially hiding some of the stairs, create a nice scene there. But as I said, I want the people to sort of look up there, see something, and be like, I want to go there. Sort of natural level progression. So I built a clock tower, something that towers over the entire scene that can be seen from almost every point on the map. So now the player would start out in that dirty side alley, look to the sky, see a clock tower, and go, "Oh, that's cool." And you eventually go there because that's where the outlook is. And to finish it off, I essentially just started making, essentially filling the outlook, making sure everything is hidden. You can't see anything, like you can't see the horizon anywhere. Make it pretty. Put the moon there, some buildings in the background. put some lighting there, make it more festive, make it really feel like a much cleaner and more well-kept area than the one that you started out with. And I think that's everything. Yeah. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're enjoying exploring the scene. Bye.